All month long, we've been having important conversations about suicide prevention. And despite the month being over after today, we want to make sure you continue to know how to help the people you care about. Joining me now, live in Studio A, is Tiffany Bittner with the Harris Center to talk more about what we've learned throughout the month, the resources available, not only during the month of September, but all year long. And that's what this conversation is about, is ensuring that the conversation that we started back on September 1, that we're wrapping up today on September 30th, continues throughout the rest of the year.
Absolutely. It's a conversation for every day. We really take advantage of the month of September, obviously being Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, to spread the word as much as we can, but it's something that should always be kind of at the forefront of our minds, and how we can know what those resources are and how we can learn and help save a life one day.
Let's sum it up. Let's talk about all the resources that we've talked about throughout the month. What are the key takeaways here for people today?
So the key takeaways would be, A, you're not alone. You're just not. There are so many people struggle, many struggle in silence, and we want people to not feel like they have to struggle in silence. But if you are, there are a number of different resources. Obviously, for something that is an imminent danger, someone is imminently going to harm themselves or harm someone else, or 911, calling and getting some assistance. If you are having those thoughts, 988, the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline, that line is answered at the Harris Center locally. We are one of the call centers for that. And so that line is there and available, and we want people, you can call or you can text.
And it's English and in Spanish.
Yes, you can call it, you can text it, which is great, because a lot of people today don't feel comfortable verbalizing those thoughts, right? Especially, your younger generation, they don't feel as comfortable having those conversations. So being able to text that. You have the Harris Center Crisis Line if you're a resident of Harris County, 713-970-7000. That's, again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just like 988. You can call that Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 and actually get set up with mental health services, or you can use it as a crisis line any 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we can send mobile crisis teams to you. Any local emergency room, if you're having those thoughts or you have someone in your life that's having those thoughts, you can go to the local emergency rooms. There's so many resources out there. It's really just being able to know what they are. And in a city and in a county so big, it's hard to pinpoint them at times. Knowing
about them, knowing they exist, and knowing they're there for you if you need them, that's really critical. I want to go back to 988. It's relatively new, right? It's been around for a few years now.
Yeah, so they changed. It used to be a regular, big number, and then they changed it to just 988. Yeah.
And the feature of folks being able to text is also among those changes that they rolled out a couple of years ago. Talk to us about what people can expect. I know you talked a little bit about that intimidation and not wanting to verbalize what it is you're going through. Obviously, if it's an emergency, if it's an imminent emergency, you must call 911.
Yes.
But this 988 number is also a resource. It's a service. Talk to us about, walk us through what that looks like, how that works if you were to text or call it.
So if you call or text, you're going to get someone on the other end of the phone that is a trained person, that they've gone through multiple hours of training on, crisis training, how to talk to people that are struggling, those questions to ask. So we're going to ask you some questions just about how you're feeling, what are those thoughts, and plans and different things like that. Once we ask you those questions, those people that are answering the phone have been trained to kind of look at what that risk is, right? And is that something that we can give you resources over the phone and say, hey, here's some areas for you to go to, here are some places for you to get plugged in? Or is it something that, hey, there's an imminent issue here, and so they can actually plug you into a crisis team or the police if needed as well. So just knowing that when you call, those folks are very non-judgmental. We're not here to judge you. We're happy that you're calling. We want to hear your story, and we want to be there to support you. That's what they do every day of their life, because they're passionate about helping other people.
Talking about that stigma associated with suicide, what do you want to clear up when it comes to misconceptions?
Oh, there's so many. I think that one of the misconceptions is that it's not common to have thoughts of suicide. It's not common to not be okay. It's, it makes you weird, it makes you broken, and it doesn't. We all go through life, and we all have struggles, and we all have ups and downs, and it's okay to have feelings of sadness. It's okay to have feelings of depression. I think that when we allow ourselves to recognize early that things aren't what they used to be and things are different, and try to get ahead of that and try to get the support that we may need from a mental health standpoint, we have so much more of a chance to keep ourselves from going down that very dark path of those suicidal thoughts. But if you have those thoughts, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, and that doesn't mean that they're never going to go away. Right. But getting the help that you need and having someone even just to talk to and talk through that with is so important. And it's incredibly important to reach out and get the support of people that want to support you.
You might have to search for it, but I promise you there is light. There will always be light. And having these conversations and normalizing this topic, letting people know that it's okay not to be okay and help does exist, that's part of eradicating that stigma.
Absolutely.
And breaking down those doors. And
and letting people know that people just like you and I have our own struggles. I say that often when I teach classes about suicide prevention. You know, most people think that just because you have a certain job or you wear certain clothes or you live in a certain place, oh, that doesn't, that would never affect you. But the reality is that it affects everybody. It doesn't differentiate. And it doesn't go, it's not just one group of people. And so when we can put our own stories and our own situations out there for others and allow ourselves to be vulnerable, you have no idea what that does for other people that may be scared to say something, to go, oh, I would have never thought that, but he was very open to telling me about that, and no one has a problem with him, or she was very open to telling me that, and she seems to be fine. And that's what kind of starts to break that stigma, is being able to be vulnerable ourselves a little bit too.
We all have mental health, and too often we're only talking about it when it's not great. But with that, there comes some shame to it. And it's getting rid of that shame and reminding people that, hey, your mental health might be this. If it's not this today, it could be that tomorrow.
Right.
And letting people know that we are we're more alike than we are different, and just being kind, being empathetic, and offering that support, whether it's just a listening ear or advice on where to go if you need more help than what a conversation can provide. With that said, talk to us really quick about the services offered at the Harris Center.
The Harris Center has, we're the local mental health authority. It costs $0 to come see us. You don't have to have insurance. You don't, we will see you. We will see anybody. There's a little bit of an eligibility process that you go through to see what service line and what services we can offer you. But we offer outpatient mental health services. We offer emergency mental health services. We have substance use disorder services. We have residential programs for people that are coming out of inpatient hospitalization. We have jail-based services as well for those who find themselves in the local county. We have adolescent and child services as well as adult, and then of course we have services for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities as well. So we have an array of things, and we have counseling services, medication management, but then if you really just want to look at the therapy route and maybe just go that route, we have those as too. So I always say, call us, let us help you, and if we don't have the service you need, we can get you to the right people, and we can get you to that service. So we have a lot of connections in the community to get people to services that we may not necessarily offer ourselves, and so we're here to help in any way we can.
Start by having that conversation.
Start with the conversation.
A conversation we started on September 1st. We're wrapping up today on September 30th.
Full circle.
But I promise you, this conversation continues every single day of the year.
Absolutely.
So keep it going. Keep it going.
Keep it
starting
going.
Tomorrow. Tiffany Bittner, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us this month.
Absolutely.